Welcome to physics class. We shall learn a new topic, force and laws of motion. We have already learned what is force. Force is an influence tending to change the motion of a body or produce motion or stress in a stationary body. In very simple words, if we say force is push or pull that changes the state of the body. If it is in motion, it can stop or change its direction, or if it is stationary, it can change its position, and likewise. Let's see the two types of forces. The two types of forces are balanced and unbalanced force. Now, what do you mean by a balanced force? Imagine that you have an object and you need to push that object from both the sides. And if the object doesn't move, we say it is a balanced force. That is, if the net force is zero, the force is said to be balanced. Similarly, in the same situation, if the object changes its position, we say it is an unbalanced force that is acting on the object. As you can see in the screen, equal forces that act on an object from opposite sides and the object doesn't move. You call it as a balanced force, and unequal forces that act on the object from opposite sides and make the object to move is a unbalanced force. Now, what do you mean by inertia? Inertia in terms of force, when we say, is actually a tendency to do nothing or to remain unchanged. If we are doing some work and suddenly if there is a change in our work, or if somebody comes and disturbs in between, we do not we do not respond to that change immediately. It takes time for us. Similarly, if we are writing something and suddenly we are asked to stop, still we take some time to stop our work. All that is the resistance to change, and this resistance to change is called as inertia. As you can see on the screen, a very nice example where we come across is a slanting slope on which if we place a tray with wheels and place some balls on it and try to roll it down the plane. You can see that in the second picture, the balls, when it reaches the end of the slope, the balls on top tend to fall down because they are trying to maintain their state of motion. Similarly, if you take another example of the glass that you can see on the screen, the glass has water in it, and upon the glass you are placing a cardboard on which you place a small coin, and you flick it flick the cardboard suddenly, and you will feel that the cardboard just moves away, leaving the coin inside the glass. That is because the cardboard is set in motion, but the coin is still at rest and is trying to be at rest, because of which it falls down inside the glass and the cardboard moves away. All this are said to be inertia. So what is inertia? It is the natural tendency of a body to resist any change in its state of rest or uniform motion in a straight line. There are different types of inertia. One is called the inertia of rest, the other is the inertia of motion, and the third is the inertia of direction. Let us see with an example. As you can see on the screen, the passengers are traveling in the bus. Now, all the passengers, when they board on the inside the bus and the bus suddenly starts to move, you feel a jerk that that makes you push backward, and this is due to the inertia of rest. That is, we sit in the bus and we are at rest, and when the bus starts to move, we try to be at rest itself, but because of the movement of the bus we tend to move backward, and that is the inertia of rest. Similarly, if the bus is moving and suddenly if the bus stops, the passengers experience a forward push, and that is due to the inertia of motion. That means when we are traveling in the bus, we are at motion with the bus, and suddenly when the bus stops, we try to be in motion, because of which we move forward, and that is inertia of motion. Similarly, you have the third type of motion, inertia, that is called the inertia of direction. As you can see from the picture, a, a string is released when the ball is tied to a string and turned in a circular fashion, and suddenly when you leave the string, it moves tangential to the circle. Now why it happens is, the ball is moving tangential to the circle due to the inertia of motion. So that means what, the ball is actually move in a movement, it is moving in a circular fashion, and suddenly when you release the pull of the string, that means you are releasing the force over there, and because of that the ball is changing its direction, and that is called the inertia of direction. In all the three cases that we saw till now, actually what happens is, the mass of the object is one of the big criteria to say about the inertia. In the first example and in the second example, we had seen the passengers, they are feeling a jerk when the bus is about to move or when it is about to stop. And if in case the mass of the passenger is higher, the inertia is more. That means they take more time to come to rest or to change their position. Similarly, if it is a small object, it can change its position very easily, as we saw in the third example. And the larger the mass of the body, the larger is the inertia or the opposition offered by the body to change its state of motion. The SI unit of mass is kilogram, and so the SI unit of inertia is also kilogram. So this inertia is one of the factor that makes us to resist the change in our state of rest or motion. All these were kept in mind by the great scientist Newton to formulate three laws of motion, which we shall see in the next video.